As a sequel to PoE 1, PoE 2 is going to have a lot of similarities. It's going to have a similar feel, even though it has a lot of graphical updates and so on. A lot of mechanic updates. But I do want to talk about, just more casually than sometimes on this channel where I make very short guides, I want to talk a little casually on the 5 ways in particular that I've noticed that PoE 2 will feel very different than PoE 1. And the first, a lot of you have heard, you can only have one support gem per entire character, not just one support gem per skill. You cannot stack the same one on multiple different skills that you're using at the same time. You can't have greater multiple projectiles on multiple skills. You cannot have controlled destruction on multiple skills, etc. Number 2 is the crafting system, a general overhaul of crafting. There's no scours to clean the item. And that includes, of course, Waystones. There's no alterations, and Chaos Orbs behave very differently. They add a modifier and remove another affix, almost hoarder crafting style. That is, generally across the board, crafting is no longer spamming rolling. You're not spam rolling for the 6 sockets and then spam rolling for the 6 link, spam rolling your alterations to get the initial mod that you want. You're not just chaos spamming. It's not slot machining as much. It is still gambling in so many ways, but it's more step by step. It's more just adding affixes one at a time, with the augment, with the regal, etc. Now, in addition, with crafting, of course, runes and soul cores exist, and these, I've compared it in my other video to abyssal jewels, because you have sockets and you don't put your skills in there, you put upgrades to that particular item. Very Diablo style, in a way. They cannot be removed. I just recently learned they're not just socketable and then you can't just pop them out. They're stuck in there for good, so be careful when you put them in there. Omens are the new meta crafting. This is a very different feel than it's going to be with the crafting bench, and of course now omens are burned through ritual, making ritual farmers possibly very wealthy. And of course this also means that you're not wasting your other currency, i.e. divine orbs, exalted orbs, during the crafting process, meaning that those will have less value, because of course those now are used for their intrinsic properties to slam. They're not used for crafting bench. Now maybe they're going to be used for crafting bench in some way. I don't know for sure. We don't know for sure, those of us that have not had a chance to play yet, but we do know that the omens are now going to be burned for meta crafting, meaning exalts are not going to be worth as much, which is kind of good. That means better access to actually use exalts. It's just a different feel than PoE 1. Finally, essences. I am the guy that confirmed essences were coming to PoE 2 way back in 2023, mid-2023, during my Jonathan Rogers interview. And now that I learned that essences are changing, I found it very interesting, because regular essences add a single mod to a magic item, and greater essences add a mod to a magic, turning it rare, kind of like a regal, except you have control of that upgrade. So they're just improved versions of augmentation orbs and regal orbs. Very interesting. Again, going back to the theme, there's no rolling. Now, the third way it's going to feel very different than PoE 1 is that when you're in Endgame and if you die on a map, that map is dead and cannot be re-entered at all, period. Hardcore players won't care about this, but softcore players, it's going to feel very different. The 6 portals, what are they for? Of course, since you can't re-enter when you die, well, they're really now just for, if you think about it, friends joining in your party, leaving the map for escaping death, like bailing out real quick, or for if you need to make a sale, or if you need to free up inventory space. So freeing up your inventory, that's, in your stash. These are all reasons to leave the map and come back in, but if you die, you cannot come back in. And similarly, dying to any boss, including during the campaign, the boss will fully heal when he's re-challenged. This is all generally more Last Epoch style. This brings us to the 4th point now. You won't be tapping utility flasks like a pianist with Parkinson's, like in PoE 1. Charm effects activate under a condition automatically, and you'll be drinking the life and mana flasks as needed, Diablo 2 style. So that's going to feel very different. And number 5, the final way, is that it's going to feel very different than PoE 1, but also, this is something brand new, different than Last Epoch or the Diablo series. Wholly unique are the Waystones themselves. You plug them into each node when you're running the Endgame Atlas, and what's different is that prefixes will always be beneficial and suffixes always detrimental. This makes them a bit different from maps, and gives us more intuitive control of how you want to level and farm based on how finalized your character currently is, you can not worry about suffixes and really stack them, and it doesn't matter as much. But you have to be a little more cautious if your character is not finalized. So I think that kind of control, just knowing that difference, it's an interesting change. It's gonna make for a very interesting ARPG, no doubt.